Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on this carding and spinning of a very short stapled fleece. This is a Gulf Coast native crossed with Dorper breed, and it's a beautiful rich brown. I think you would consider this to be a black fleece, except that the sunburnt tips kind of turn it a rich chocolatey brown. Gorgeous fleece. Not all that soft, but majorly crimpy, like serious crimp. Anyway, I had been given this fleece to experiment with, and originally I was going to try to make roving at the mill with it. Well, when I was digging through fleeces to scour another one, I found this that had already been scoured, and I was like, well, why not try carding it and see what happens? Was very pleased with the end result. The shorter stapled fibers do like to get wrapped around the liquor end more than the longer stapled fibers, but I still got it to work. I still got a smooth bat in 3 passes on the drum carder. I was pretty impressed with how well this wool handled being carded and spun. So while you watch me card this up, I would like to give a huge thank you to all the new subscribers and welcome. Thank you to returning viewers for continuing to watch the shows. You guys are all so incredibly amazing, and I appreciate each and every one of you and all your comments and suggestions. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget you can leave comments, questions, and suggestions down in the comment section below the video. Alright, as you can see here, removing the bat from the drum is a little more difficult than typical because the shorter fibers do like to stick to the teeth. And it's a big mess as per usual when it comes off the carder the first time, but this seemed to be more of a mess than I was anticipating. I did card this up 3 times total, and I sped up the footage so you are not going to be here all day watching me card. This took forever. I had to go so slow, and I had to keep burnishing because these fibers just really liked hanging on to that liquor in, and I like to keep that fairly clean and have all the fibers go on the drum, like, you know, so I can use them. Anyways, same type of carding, a little bit easier to take off the drum the second time around, which is fairly normal. And you can see it's a lot smoother, a lot nicer. Still needs to go through the carder at least one more time, but it's not terrible. So the second time through, I experimented, or the third time through, excuse me, I experimented with feeding in chunks of bat a bit thicker, and surprise, it went a whole lot better. So sometimes keeping your fibers super thin is the key, and sometimes feeding it in fairly thick is the key. Experimentation is the name of the game, and it seems like everything I learn about fiber arts, experimentation is key. But look at that beauty right there. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Like, I thought I would have to card this more, or I thought it might get all nappy. Nope. Gorgeous. Gorgeous bat. It's so bouncy. So bouncy and fluffy. Look at this. Squish. I just want to squish it forever. Don't you want to squish it too? Do you take your bats off the drum carder and squish them for a while before you start spinning? Anyway, now we're on to the spinning, and I will show you close-ups in a little bit of how I'm spinning. Being a very short staple, yes, it wanted to long draw, but I managed to experiment with different ways to draft and got a semi-worsted, semi-woolen spin out of this prep. I did split the bats down into narrow strips, which made management a whole lot easier, and there was no fuss. with trying to draft all the fiber at once. I did have some thick and thin spots. It felt very overspun, but the shorter your staple, the more twist you need to hold it together. So I was kind of expecting it to be like this, and since it's not a super soft fiber, I was not expecting a soft yarn, and I did not get a soft yarn. I spun up 3 separate bats, and I put an undyed white wool little chunk in between each of the bats so that I could rewind the singles to storage bobbins later for a traditional 3-ply, which is what I wanted to make with this. It would make a beautiful 2-ply, possibly a little bit softer than what I ended up with, but I really, this fiber just begged to be a 3-ply, so 3-ply it is. Now, I kept having to reach for bat strips, and I actually lost a few and found them later. So in the process of spinning this, I discovered I could fill up my pockets with, my apron pockets with bat strips, and then when I finished one, I would reach in a pocket and pull out the next. And that was pretty nifty. I can see why a spinner's apron with big pockets would be quite helpful. So I thought I would share with you a very brief little sped up clip of rewinding the singles. Now, there is a benefit to rewinding the singles. What it does is it puts you plying from the same end of the fiber as you did with the original spinning. And when you're smoothing your yarn as you spin, that means when you're plying, you're smoothing the same direction you already smoothed, so you're not roughing up the fiber. And I haven't really experimented with this, but I know that it can make a difference, and it is fun to experiment, so I may at some point. But I did it because I only have 1 bobbin for this wheel. And I did notice plying was super easy and smooth, and I didn't have any roughing up issues that I tend to when I don't rewind my singles. So maybe I will just rewind all of my singles from now on. I don't know. It was a super easy ply. I don't normally do my plying on Lady Elizabeth, but I felt like I was changing hooks every half a second or every 2 seconds. It was, I tend to spin fast and ply fast, and when you have frequent hook changes, it's constantly stopping and starting and stopping and starting. But it went very quickly, and I put a low amount of twist in for the 3-ply, knowing that a more gentle twist angle would create a slightly softer yarn. It still felt a lot like rope. I got it washed and hung up to dry, and it is all sorts of just has a ton of energy and character to it, and it's beautiful. I have not had this much enjoyment over a yarn in quite a while. It was a big surprise. I'm very, very pleased with the end result, and now I want to see if I can knit up some cables with it and see how it does. I think this yarn would make delightful cables. And I ended up with a little over 100 yards, so who knows what I can do with this. Anyway, stay tuned for pictures at the very end of the final yarn as it hangs in the garden. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you and chatting with you all. Please enjoy whatever it is you're doing each and every day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!